Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to FortressCraft Evolved. I'm Axon Evolved, and today we need to figure out how to feed the beasts that we created over in these turret towers. So, as I kind of discussed in the last episode, our rocket launchers, they just take so much material, and we're having issues kind of feeding them. You see now, I threw some basic rockets down there, I think, just to kind of get them filled up in the time being, but we need to figure out something more permanent. I'm not super satisfied. I'm not happy with the way we're producing the rockets, nor am I happy with how slow the imbued rockets get created. So I've come up with a plan that I don't know if it'll work, but I'm willing to test it out. So you can see over here, I've got this little area kind of marked out just to show you we're just off the side of the resin room here. And I was playing around with some stuff. Number one being the geological surveyor. I don't know if I still have this on a hotbar. I do actually. So what I was doing is I was kind of just, plopping that down, throwing some power on it, and seeing what it says. And if we start looking down here, eventually this will update, and you see a ton of coal, non-ore blocks, but eventually as it goes deeper and deeper, eventually it'll say that we have some smeltable ore down there. So that got me thinking, maybe it's time to play around with quarries. They are very inefficient, but it might be a nice way to just kind of passively mine for stuff and just use it to supplement what we're doing now. What I'm really interested in is 3 different ores. Number one, as I was digging this out to kind of make room for the quarry, I found a huge copper vein right here. I don't even remember how big it was. So that's 16 million. That's more than enough copper for all the missiles we would need, because the copper tubes get turned into the actual missile batteries themselves. So copper is pretty much settled, but the other things we need are gold and iron. Iron for the empties that we're going to use to fill up the fuel canisters to make missiles, and gold for the gold wire that we use to make missiles. So just to give you a quick recap of, or a review of what we use to make missiles, you can see here that we've got the copper coming in to make pipes and the gold coming in to make wires, and those fuse together to make the basic empty missiles. So this we're trying to kind of find a new source of this and another source of iron, because you can see fuel is the bottleneck here. Fuel is the reason why we're not getting anything over here. So I also don't like the way this is placed. I don't like that this is coming off of the main smelting rooms. It just seems like it's kind of out of the way. So we're going to see about moving everything closer to the fuel production. But first we need to get this quarry set up. Now, I've never actually used the quarry before, but based on what we got here, it says, once the thing clears up, 8 million smeltable ore. So, and that's at a depth of 1,000 meters. So what I remember, I've kind of seen this used before, but I've never used it myself. So we're going to kind of learn how to use this together or something like that. So I've got the quarry in here somewhere right there. Okay. So from what I understand, we need it's like a 9x9 area, but does it just kind of make its own thing, or do you have to? Oh, okay. So it needs a hopper with all these chevrons on it. Okay. Well, that's easy enough. Okay, so it looks like this is the area where the quarry is going to start digging. Now, I know this is going to need power. 150 needed to dig. All right, so there's a couple things that we need to kind of take into account first, right? So I'm going to get rid of that hopper real quick. This is going to need power, and it's going to need a place to output. So what I think I'm going to do, I think I'm going to want this to output 2 different directions, right? So I'll keep them add and remove. I don't think it's a huge deal. But what I was planning on doing, and I don't know if this is going to be sufficient power, maybe some of you guys who have done this before can let me know, but I'm literally just going to put a Mark IV battery down. Right, Mark IV battery, and then I was just going to throw on a where is it? An organic Mark II solar panel. I think this is 540 power per second at most. So that'll kind of do its thing, right? It should be, yeah, 540. So that's not bad. And it's already starting to fill up. So what I need to do now, right? There's a couple we're essentially going to make a series of loops. And what I mean by that is the quarry is going to output. In fact, maybe I'm just going to output it to 1 or this one. The quarry is going to output everything that it brings up. So it's going to output dirt. It's going to output coal. It's going to output all the smeltable stuff. And we need a way to process all that. Now, the first thing I think I'm going to do, I want to grab all of the smeltable ores, right? So I'm going to make, I guess I'm going to make just a series of belts. I think we're going to work back this way. So in fact, let me do this. Maybe we'll go to about here, right? Then I'm going to put a hopper down. Now I've already gone ahead and I've made advanced and basic conveyor filters. Now the reason I made 2 different ones is because if you look, right, this, you can kind of go through them and choose a category of item, right? So I want, let's see, crafted, crystals, nothing, gems, organic, smeltable. Okay, so I want smeltable items coming off in this direction, right? So once that happens, from there we can process it further, right? So first things first, the number one thing I want to make sure I grab out, because I think I'm just going to tap into, I might put a second battery down with a second solar panel and use that to power a little coal, or I'm sorry, copper mining area right here, and a whole nother little smelter array. But the other thing we really need is we need gold, right? So if I'm going to have this line continue this way per se, I'm going to take, I need to get some gold ore. And actually, I've grabbed kind of all the ore I might need. So iron, copper, and gold, right? So the first thing I want is gold ore, right? So I want this to grab out any gold ore that comes up. And then the same thing for iron and the same thing for copper, right? So this is why I have a mix of specific and generic filters. So we got gold, this one will be iron, and that one will be copper. Okay, so now that all of the smeltable stuff is coming out, you know, so everything, so tin, lithium, nickel, titanium, anything that's not one of these 3 ores, I want to just pass through and kind of get back to, you know, kind of meet back up somewhere over here, because then that's where we're going to deal with it, right? So I'm just going to put something kind of temporary down. And again, we're kind of figuring this all out as we go. I don't really have a plan for how this is going to lay out, but you know, we're going to kind of figure it out. Okay. So that is going to be that. Next, we're going to need to deal with coal, right? So there's going to be a ton of coal that potentially comes out, and I think, oh, you know what? I might have wanted this to go back that way. But you know, we can cross belts. It's not, like I said, it's not a huge deal. Okay. So coal is most likely going to be something combustible. So we're going to set the filter to combustible types. I don't know what else can come up that's combustible. Maybe biomass. So that is just going to kind of go into, let me think. If it's coal, we want it to get back into the system, but that's way, we would need to get it way back into this system over here, which I'm not against having just a line of belts doing all that, but it's just going to take a lot of time to run because it's not, obviously there's no infrastructure for that yet, right? So let's just assume that combustible stuff will go this way, and we'll just have a hopper for now. Now what's left? What's left is rock and pretty much dirt and all that kind of stuff. So what's going to happen with that? In fact, I'm going to put something right here. I'm going to put a hopper right there. And in there I'm going to put another filter that goes out this way. And this is going to be not biomass, not nothing, not gems, organic, smeltable, researchable. I guess garbage. Garbage is going to have to work because what I have planned, And this is one of the parts where I don't know exactly how much I'm going to need, right? So I'm going to do something like this. Maybe 5. Content sharing on. And you'll kind of see what I'm doing. From here, I'm going to set up a series of macerators. Here we go. So the macerators are going to take in all the extra stuff, and I believe they have the ability to create ore and stuff sometimes. Actually, you know what? I'm wondering if I should put it past this, just on the off chance that it gets grabbed up. In fact, I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, so take 2. I realize that I don't actually even need to filter anything out. I want to do kind of whatever's left, go to a series of hoppers. You know, have it come up here. They'll all share. I didn't want to do that. In fact, now that I'm even thinking about it, I don't even know. I've got so much coal over there that I'm grabbing that I think I'm just going to have everything that's not ore kind of go into the macerators, because that's all that we really care about, right? Now, one of 2 things is going to happen. I think I'm either going to get ore or I'm not, right? So if that's the case, then I'm going to want basically all the ore to go back into here to get filtered back out. And then everything that's not, I'm going to want to go to like super construction paste grinders. So now I don't know I have 0 idea about throughput and how this is really going to work. So, can you set this to not something? Transporting spell. Oh, let me check on this real quick. I wonder if I'm setting these wrong. This is transporting researchable. Okay, I want it to go to smeltable. Okay, so then this would come back up this way and kind of re-enter the chain right here. Just like that. And then the rest, everything else, should go to a bunch of super construction paste grinders, which I don't think I have on me. Okay, so we just throw the super construction paste grinders down right there, and then I'm gonna have these feed into, I think I've got a couple 2000 slot hoppers. Yeah, so I'm gonna throw these down right here. I'll have them all share. I honestly though, because this makes 8 construction paste per block, these are going to fill up super fast, just like they were when they were grinding away over on the coal over there. So I'm going to need to, for sure, figure out a bigger storage solution. Maybe use mass storage. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Okay. So with that being said, let me do something like this, right? I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this. Because I want that to kind of draw out as quick as it can. And the plan is obviously to beam power like that, right into there. Maybe instead of that. Well, actually, we'll see. Like I said, this is still kind of in the planning phases, right? So let's do something like this. Just to see, right? Just to see how this is going to work. Because I can always cut the power off. And then everything that goes down this way, I could just put in a like a hopper bank, right? All right, so let's throw some power on this thing, and I guess let's see it in action. All right, well, it's getting power, and look, it's already starting to go. Excellent. Okay, so now we want to watch it output, right? So it's sending. Okay, so this looks like it's just crap. And there's some coal, so the coal should still go. It should all get macerated up. Hopefully. I hope these don't need to be rotated. I don't know what the correct orientation for these is. Rough hewn rock and coal. Do these need to rotate? These don't need power, do they? What is taking you so long? Do these need to get fed straight into... Hold on. Does this stuff need to go straight into a macerator? We're about to find out. Yes, it does. Okay. Okay. Let me fix that real quick. Okay, then I'll just place the last one, have it share. Okay. So now it looks like it's doing something. Okay, so actually it looks like this just gets rid of the thing unless it produces something. So it's taking coal, which is not a big deal. So I wonder if we even need that at all. I'd be anxious to see it actually output something. Now it looks like we haven't got anything else yet, but this seems to be holding up pretty decently well. Looks like there is kind of an issue here with some throughput. So I'm gonna do something like this. I'm just gonna put that down and then make a second export just to help the process, you know. I don't know if that'll alleviate it all the way down, but you know, we can only do what we can do, right? Worst case scenario, I can always switch to pipes for faster, but it looks like it's okay. So this is not getting enough power, so let's bump it up. Let's see if that helps it work faster. So I think that just it'll just kind of depend on, it will only affect the digging speed, right, of the actual quarry itself. So I think I'm going to throw this second battery down just to make sure that we're at least pulling in enough power that I could potentially throw in another lens or another one of these if I had to. All right, so those batteries are definitely sharing between each other, which is fine. They equalize, but right now they're both pulling in about 1080 power per second, and I'm transmitting about what, 960 or so. So that should give this thing kind of enough power to do what it needs to do. But I haven't seen, so these have done nothing. I see now. I don't know if this is going to be efficient, right, to have them come back into here. So I'm already kind of redesigning this as I'm seeing it, right? So if I come a little bit farther up, you know, like right about there. So if I do that, right, and again, this is only going to be ore that comes out. So if I have this come out and just cross with a logistics grommet and then just meet back up, right? This should only be smeltable things, right? Like ores. So then it'll kind of go through here and then filter out the ones we want. Everything we don't want will go down this way. And then as we get closer to over here and integrating this back into the lines we have, I can do one last check where specific filters are drawing out specific ores. And then those will be used to, the specific filters will be used as like a last check to clear out the lines. And then everything else can go to another set of macerators or construction paste grinders or something like that. Now, do these have anything in them? Nothing. So macerators I thought macerators have the ability to produce ore occasionally. Or is that not a thing? Am I just like dreaming that up? How far down is this going? So this thing is going down pretty slow. Looks like it's just trying to work through all the coal right now. Yeah, we definitely need to figure out a better way of doing this part. Maybe I can throw another hopper down. I don't know how well that's going to help. But this is also digging the coal, so that's like another thing. But maybe coal just doesn't produce. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking about how I could get this check a little bit earlier for the smeltable things without taking up so much space. Because I have these two faces, right? I have, well, essentially I have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 faces that I can pull off here, which means I would need to do the check for smeltable things 6 times if I were to keep the belts like that. Oh, look, something went through. I don't know. I don't know what just went through. What is it? Lithium ore. Okay, so why is lithium ore? Maybe I need to do it like this. Right, so lithium ore should have gone with... This filter should have grabbed it out. I know, I just picked it up. Here we go. Okay, yeah, so lithium is smeltable. Okay, so I think I need to do something like that, right? And then set filter to smeltable, T to invert filter. Everything except smeltable. Okay, so we'll just do something like this, right? It's a little whatever, but we're learning. We're learning. Okay, so we did see some lithium come out though, so that's pretty nice. And then we could do something like that, something like that. Oh, see, look, copper. So now, in fact, I'm going to do this. Whoop. Just rotate. Oh, there's all kinds of stuff. Okay, it just wasn't sharing very well. So look at that. We got tin, we got copper, and that's all coming from the macerators. So that's perfect. Okay. So those should start to fill up. I should have lithium ore down there, which I think I do, and these will start to get copper. Wherever the copper one is. Wait, why is copper getting down there? I thought I set one for copper. Filter set to copper ore. Okay, I need to do this thing again. I need to do the thing where I do everything except whatever the ore is, right? Okay, so then I should be able to hook those back up and, I don't know, throw all this stuff back down. And it's going down there. It's going into the hoppers, which is great. Now I just need to build a smelting area, because I think this is working fairly well. Do I got enough space yet? Almost. This is working well enough that I feel fairly confident in rerunning, or I guess continuing on with the next part. I don't know if this is efficient. I feel like it's not. Like maybe I could, well, maybe if it starts to back up. The thing is, we're only feeding it at 100 items per minute, or 100, yeah, only 100 per minute on one belt line, which is, it's just not ideal, you know. I guess I could actually double this up if I did something like that, right? And then do something like this. But I need to do this real quick. Okay, we're gonna do this. Right? Okay, so that was smeltable is what I want. Okay, and everything, set this to smeltable and then invert, and then set it to smeltable and invert. Okay, so now everything should be going through correctly. And then what I'm going to do is do this, right? That way, or actually, I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to output again like this. And kind of just double everything up. That's the plan. And then I'm just going to have this go down, because this, I don't think is going to be a huge... This part is not going to be a big deal. But if it is, you know what? I can just do this. Just like that. Okay. So now I think I've effectively doubled everything up, which means this should be outputting a lot faster. Which it looks like it is. But it's like barely faster. But you know what? That's a good start. Are we getting anything over here yet? I think this system is designed to not need this part. Honestly, I'm going to just do this. I'm going to get rid of this because it looks like I might not be needing this after all. And then I'm just going to put a single hopper right there just to see if anything kind of gets in there. But I'm pretty pleased with this. It's slowly getting through all that coal. And I know that will kill you, so you need to be careful with that. Okay, it also looks like we're getting plenty of power. What's our power usage? I get that they're all full, but what's our power usage? You know, another option is to send this all to a mass storage that I have like right here-ish. and have those just go straight into filters or something to that effect. I don't know. Maybe that's not. Maybe I'm just getting crazy. We're under attack as usual. Okay, so let's plan out a smelting area. Now I'm going to clear off this a little bit just so we have a little bit of headroom. But we need to start planning this out, right? So this is obviously temporary, and this is going to end up going... Why is there copper ore in here? This must have been before I... Ooh, see, it's titanium. So if we're getting titanium, that means we're getting the potential for gold and stuff too. Oh, you know what? What I think would be a really great idea. Maybe I do divert some of this coal, right? Maybe I'll take some coal, send it over, I don't know, across there, and use and enrich it. Make an enricher and an infuser and use that to power my smelters, because I don't necessarily... I'm going to use the rest of this power to farm the copper right there, and I don't want to be drawing too much power off of this, because then it'll cause that to slow down and yada yada yada. So let me look at some way I can do that, and then I'll bring you guys back when I have a solution. Alright guys, quick progress update. I figured I'll kind of update you as this project is taking place, just so you guys, you know, I don't just snap and suddenly everything's all different. So I'm kind of redesigning how everything goes, because I did not like the way things were working, right? So for now, the general plan is these three, I've ran the power underground so that I can have three output hoppers, right? So these are going to come this way, and all of these in theory are going to search for combustibles. So anything that's combustible is going to go merge onto that belt right there. Anything that's not combustible, again, in theory, is just going to hop right through once I put all the grommets down and everything that I need. So everything non-combustible will go straight. Everything combustible will go to the right and merge here. This is going to be a biomass checker. So anything, because I'm assuming the only two combustible things are coal and biomass. So any biomass is going to go kind of this way into its own little hopper that I'm just going to grab every now and then. Maybe I'll put like a 2000 slaughter or something. Any coal is going to run into here and get distributed amongst the belts and run into some enrichers and then infusers, and then eventually just get stored over here for use in the smelting area that's going to be in this general vicinity. So that's all I have for now. What I still need to do, or what's still going to happen, I'm going to make something where this essentially gets powered by this coal once it gets generated. You know, maybe I can actually get that set up. I just did this so that it would have some power, but I realize now that once I actually start to separate out the actual ore, I'm going to need to cross these belts again at some point. Unless I go and cross them over here and then somehow get filtered over there or something. But these are where the filters are set up, and I don't really feel like moving them just yet. But I might move them as I kind of see how the design kind of shapes up. So I'll bring you guys back once I'm a little bit farther along. Alright, so the next phase has kind of been completed. So again, we kind of just copied the same design, only this time, instead of pulling out combustibles, they're pulling out smeltables. So all the smeltables should eventually coalesce onto this line. Now, I don't know if this line is going to be sufficient. What I might do is put a second line if I have to. Now, that's kind of the reason I'm doing this too. This should be, if I have to, I can put an upper layer and kind of just expand this vertically using the exact same pattern. I don't see it being that big of an issue, and I'm hoping that the ore doesn't back up. If throughput tends to be a problem, then I have the option of going to pipes. I have the option of, you know, smelting faster. That's another thing. But I'm gonna see how this works out. Honestly, this is the only part that I actually care about, because these three ores are the ones that are gonna make me missiles. So hopefully this all works out. As far as the macerators go, I just had them go and split. They run into the macerators, and then since this only puts out ore, it'll loop back and hit one of the lines that coalesces onto the smeltables to get filtered out. So I think I'm going to... Oh, I also made a little jog right here for the coal, the enriched coal. So it's either going to come here and use this to feed a generator, which is going to feed the power to this thing. Or you know what? Actually, instead of doing that, I can do something like this. Just put the generator right there. And I think like nobody will ever see it. Nobody has to know. Okay. So this will be the coal. So I'm going to put a grommet right here. But then I need to get everything ready or together for smelting. So I'm going to go gather all that stuff, all you know, an induction plate and the forges and the forced inductions and all that stuff, and then I will meet you guys back here. So now that I've got all the stuff I need, I kind of did like a little test run here where I just threw some of the ores I had picked up in there. So now the only thing I've really done other than get the stuff is I just added this little escape path just to make sure that there's a place for somewhere for the extra ores to go, which there definitely is. Okay, so now I think what I'm going to do, I think what I want is I want to have kind of like a triple... Where's my power? My power is coming out right here, right? So I want the ability to have induction plates side by side, right? So 1, 2, 3, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plan with the ability to expand, right? Because I might get to the point where I'm making way too much to handle, you know? So I got some Mark IV forced inductions, or, you know, to go with that, I might just be making enough that all we're going to do is whatever we have right now. So like this might be more than enough, right? So I'm going to set it up in such a way that if I need to expand, I can, and if I don't need to expand, then I don't, you know. I'm making it modular. All right. So now that I've got that going, the next thing I need to consider is power. I'm thinking that I might throw the power down under kind of similar to what I did, right? Have one coal line feeding 2 generators. I don't know how many generators is going to be enough, right? Because I need to consider that I'm going to have the outputs of the ore. So with that being said, I think I'm going to do something similar, right? So in the sense that I'm going to do a couple generators. So maybe 3 generators per group. So something like that. And then I'm going to throw these belts in here. So it'll kind of overflow as it needs to. So something like that. And then I'm just going to plop generators right on top. I don't know if that's going to be enough. You know, we'll kind of find out together. And then I'll just dig a little channel, I guess, right here. Right? We'll just kind of come out and down. We'll throw a turntable here, which hopefully splits things correctly. But then we'll just kind of get the coal flowing, rocking and rolling. And hopefully we get some split. I'm going to go ahead and hook this up just enough so we can get some stuff flowing. Because I really want to see kind of how it's going to work, you know. I have this one coming out that way. Now this is obviously not like the best throughput, but look, it looks like it's a lot of coal, so hopefully this works out. I can already see, yeah, like I know there's gonna be bottlenecks. This is not news to me, but hopefully if we have to, we can figure out ways to add buffers in the middle, especially for something like this where I can make that you know, a 500 slot. In fact, maybe I'll just do that just so things have the ability to back up if they need to. But mostly I want to see the coal start to flow and start powering up these generators. So it looks like these ones are already starting to go. All right, perfect. All right, guys, I think on that note, I'm going to call this one an episode. If you guys like what you saw, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button. Let me know what you guys think. This is a pretty ambitious project. It's going to eventually tie in everything back to our main base, and then it's going to start making us missiles and all that kind of good stuff. Hopefully, we'll see kind of how far it gets. But thank you guys so much for hanging out, and we'll see you all in the next one.